Saturday, 1986. A Ford Cortina hums along a grey motorway, children in the back seat, until a red glow appears, a cartoon chef hat beckoning through drizzle. You knew exactly what that sign meant. It's gone now. So are 5 other chains that once felt permanent, vanished so quietly most of us barely noticed. We're counting down 6 of them, starting with the most whimsical restaurant Britain ever produced. In the 6th place, the Golden Egg stands out as the most whimsical memory on this list. A restaurant that felt more like walking into a storybook than a standard cafe. Founded in 1958 by Samuel Kay and his 2 sons just off London's West End, it quickly became a destination for families seeking something a little magical. Each branch offered its own personality, with interiors designed by ceramic artists and themes that ranged from Italian trattoria to American diner. The entrance often greeted visitors with a life-sized polystyrene court jester and a molded ceiling that seemed to glow in pastel colors, all part of a riotous palette that made the chain famous among design historians. The menu was equally playful, with pancakes dripping in maple syrup, the Jamaican longboat banana split, and sirloin steak dinners for 8 shillings and 9pence. After reaching 36 locations by 1965, the Golden Egg changed hands twice. First to J. Lyons and Company, then to United Biscuits, before quietly fading away, branch by branch, through the 1980s. There was no dramatic collapse, just a gentle vanishing, leaving behind only memories and the odd photograph of a jester welcoming children to a meal that always felt like a treat. In the 5th place, Wendy's UK marks a bold but ultimately fleeting chapter in British fast food history. When the first branch opened on Oxford Street in 1980, the promise was nothing short of transformative. A joint venture touting plans for 500 locations nationwide. Yet within just 6 months, the British partner withdrew, leaving the American parent company to press on alone. Expansion slowed dramatically, reaching only 16 restaurants, a far cry from the original ambition. The all-you-can-eat salad bar, a staple in American outlets, left many British diners puzzled, as the concept felt out of step with local habits. High rents in prime locations and a sluggish economy weighed heavily, and by 1986, Wendy's sold its UK business for £6.8 million. The brand made a comeback attempt in 1992, aiming for 70 outlets, but managed to open only a dozen before quietly shutting down again by 2000. Wendy's UK stands as a reminder of how even the biggest international names can misread the rhythms of British life, fading away not with scandal, but with a quiet retreat. In the 4th place, Pizzaland captures the moment when British high streets embraced the promise of mass-market dining, where the thrill of a voucher could draw crowds as reliably as the food itself. Launched in 1970 with the backing of Associated Newspapers, Pizzaland quickly grew from a single London outlet into a national fixture, boasting more than 140 locations by the early 1990s. The chain's green uniforms, embroidered with gold lettering, and the all-you-can-eat salad bar became instantly recognizable to families stopping in after a day's shopping or before a cinema trip. But it was the late 1980s tabloid voucher, offering a second pizza for just 1 penny, that truly defined the Pizzaland experience. What started as a clever promotion soon became an expectation, with customers clutching their cut-out coupons and staff bracing for packed evenings. The relentless demand for penny pizzas strained profits, turning a marketing gimmick into a financial burden. In November 1996, Whitbread bought Pizzaland's parent group and almost overnight began converting branches into Pizza Hut or Bella Pasta. There were no grand farewells, just a quiet rebranding, leaving regulars to discover their local Pizzaland had simply disappeared, the green and gold replaced by new signs and unfamiliar menus. Coming to the top 3, Burney Inn evokes a sense of occasion that once defined dining out in post-war Britain. The story begins in 1955 when brothers Frank and Aldo Burney opened their first restaurant inside a centuries-old pub in Bristol. Their vision, a British take on the American steakhouse, was seen as a gamble in a country where eating out was still a rare treat. Yet the Burney formula caught on quickly. Between 1961 and 1966, new locations opened at a dizzying pace, nearly 1 every month, until close to 100 Burney Inns dotted the map by the end of the decade. Stepping into a Burney Inn felt halfway between a pub and a stately home. Mock Tudor beams, whitewashed walls, and heavy wooden furniture set the stage for a ritual that became known as the Great British Meal. Prawn cocktail to start, steak and chips for the main, and a wedge of Black Forest Gâteau to finish. For many, this was the backdrop to first dates, family celebrations, and the thrill of feeling grown up for the first time. The menu rarely changed, but that was part of the comfort, predictable, affordable luxury at a time when dining out was still a special event. The chain's fate was sealed in 1995 when Whitbread bought every remaining Burney Inn and rebranded them overnight as Beefeater Steakhouses. The familiar name vanished, not with scandal or bankruptcy, but with a quiet corporate decision that left regulars to discover one morning that the place where they'd marked so many milestones was simply gone. In second place, Spudulike stands as a recent and vivid memory for anyone who ever grabbed a foil-wrapped baked potato on a shopping centre lunch break. The story begins in June 1974, when Spudulike opened its doors in Edinburgh, offering something simple but satisfying. A jacket potato, hot from the oven, split open and loaded with melted cheese, baked beans, or a generous scoop of chili con carne. The ritual was familiar. Choose your topping, watch the steam rise as staff heaped it on, and settle in for a meal that felt both hearty and wholesome. A turning point came in 1979 when the British School of Motoring took over, bringing the resources and ambition to spread Spudulike across Britain. By the 1980s, the chain was a fixture in food courts and high streets, its green and orange branding as much a part of the shopping experience as the sound of escalators or the smell of fresh bread from the bakery next door. But the world changed, and so did British tastes. By the summer of 2019, Spudulike had shrunk to just 37 locations. On the 1st of August that year, the company entered administration, and within a week, every remaining branch closed, an entire chain vanishing almost overnight. There was a brief flicker of hope when a potato supplier revived the name 2 months later, and a splashy relaunch in 2021 with celebrity chef James Martin brought a new menu and a touch of glamour. Yet by 2024, the last stores had quietly shuttered for good. Spudulike's story is a reminder of how quickly the ordinary can become extraordinary in memory. A lunch break staple gone, leaving only the taste of hot butter and nostalgia. And finally, in first place, Little Chef stands as the most quietly mourned loss in British roadside dining, a chain whose red and white signs once dotted nearly every major motorway, promising a familiar break from the endless ribbon of tarmac. The story begins in 1958 with Sam Alper, a British caravan manufacturer inspired by the compact American roadside diners he saw on his travels. His vision was simple, a place where families could stop, stretch their legs, and enjoy a meal that felt both comforting and a little bit special. The real turning point came in 1970, when a merger with a major hotel group sent Little Chef into overdrive, expanding to a peak of 439 restaurants and making it almost impossible to take a long drive without passing Fat Charlie, the chain's rotund cartoon chef, waving from the roadside. For generations, Little Chef became a fixture of family holidays and weekend outings. The Olympic breakfast, a feast of eggs, bacon, sausage, mushrooms and beans, became legendary, as did the stacks of pancakes and the ritual of sliding into a red vinyl booth while the car cooled in the parking lot. Even Prince Philip paid a visit to the Doncaster branch in 2014, a sign of just how woven into the national fabric Little Chef had become. But the world changed, and Little Chef struggled to keep up. By 2017, only 70 sites remained, and the brand was sold to a fuel station company more interested in the real estate than the restaurant. Within a year, the familiar signs came down, replaced by coffee shops and fried chicken outlets. The last traces of the brand vanished in early 2018, yet the official website lingered on, a ghostly relic still listing 70 restaurants and student discounts long after the final pancake had been served. Little Chef's passing was not marked by headlines or scandal, but by the slow erosion of 1,000 small rituals, leaving behind a sense of loss that lingers on every empty lay-by where Fat Charlie once smiled. Across all 6 chains, one truth stands out. Most didn't vanish in a blaze, but faded quietly, converted, bought out, or closed overnight, leaving their rituals and familiar tastes to memory. British fast food nostalgia is stitched from everyday places now gone. Which vanished spot lives on in your memories?